Hey Becca, hey Josh. I hope you're having a good day. I wanted to add some commentary to my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to be as brief as possible, so I'm going to run through things quickly. If you have questions, feel free to email me. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So the question is about Vistaprint. How do they get new customers? Well, they obviously are targeting small businesses, but one of the things they're doing is they're looking to reach out to underserved markets. If there's specific language that is out there for that specific market, they'll build their keywords or their SEO up around that. And so we're talking about maybe third world countries is one of the places they're looking to reach out to. They will also advertise using SEM, banner, social media, YouTube. You see them everywhere, especially if you visit their site, then that's when the remarketing begins. They are constantly expanding their brands, and I'm going to touch on that in another slide, but they're also utilizing viral marketing. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the beginning with Vistaprint, and I actually remember some of the major news outlet would talk about like, hey, this company is printing your stuff for free. And that was a really cool idea. They had it so that there was actually less waste. If they had a print job and there was a couple extra slots for a business card or whatnot on the roll, that they would actually use that. So it was a brilliant move by that company. But what they would do is they would include an imprint tagline on that business card. You could remove it for a fee, but they had over 2 billion cards distributed with their logo on it. So that's cards that people are handing to other small businesses, to their consumers, etc. So that's one of the ways that they started the new customer acquisition. As far as AOV, they have great opportunities to upsell and cross-sell. When you upload your logo and your company name and whatnot, they have visual mock-ups of what other products might look like. So they could say, hey, you got a business card holder with your business cards. It makes sense, right? You should buy both of them during the checkout process. They also offer premium upgrades, for example, if you want embossing or glossy cards and those types of things. But also, if a consumer does not complete the checkout process, they will keep the unpurchased items in the cart for that next purchase, so that it's like a reminder or an opportunity to get them to buy that item that they kind of left hanging before. That kind of ties in with the CLV. That's my jumping point. They have logins and accounts that hold purchase history. That gives quick and easy access to reorders. If you're a busy business person or small business that's just starting out with just you, and you got 5,000 different things you need to do, that reorder thing is really key. And I'll kind of elaborate on that in a few when I talk about what other marketing things they could do. They keep expanding product offerings, and that's one of the things that's really key to them. I'm going to harp on. They started with just the business cards, letterhead, those types of things, and expanding on to website design and those types of categories. And they maintain quality no matter what it is that you get from those guys. They have it's consistent at the price point. You know what you're going to get. I've been using them for years, and you always get high quality stuff, which is super cool. And that ties into, here I am talking about it. It's that constant positive review from the end user, from the customer, from the purchaser. That is really important, especially in today's age where people could go many different places, especially online, to get their printing done. But they know if they go with Vistaprint, they're going to get quality. So that excellent product quality means that people are going to come there again because people are comfortable with them. They know what they're going to get. They can really expedite the process. They'll also listen to and respond to consumers. If they will even adapt their marketing models if there's enough comments from those end consumers. They will adapt. And let me give you an example of that. They have their ideas and advice blog. That was something that was actually generated based off their customers' feedback, and along with that, guess what they did? They created the opportunity to unlock things. So if they like, hey, don't forget, if you're going to have a business meeting, you should do these things and introduce yourself this way. And oh, by the way, hand them your business card, and we happen to sell those. They also use a component, and this kind of comes inherently, but there's an emotional connection to creating your own item. There's an identity that goes along with it. It's the fact that there's your name, there's your logo, that's your heart right there, and you're actually seeing it, and it's going to be tangible. So that's a big thing. And as I mentioned, they're reaching out to those developing nations. The other thing that they do, we talked about product quality, but they keep hitting those email databases. That's important. And they use their social media, SEM and retargeting, those types of things to get repeat business. That's the traditional marketing, the digital. They'll do print every now and then. There's specific markets that they will do print to. I know that for a fact. But for the most part, they keep it digital. And they will realign themselves based off the customer needs. Again, it goes back to they're expanded into websites. So that's how they keep their CLV up. They respond, and they're adaptive, and they're constantly updating their practices and the goods that they offer, so to speak. So what would I change? Well, I would possibly market to regional vendors, and this is more of a cost thing, but if you can get those regional vendors to print for you and it's cost effective, you could cut cost in one area. But likewise, you could get those regional vendors to actually purchase from you so that they would actually decrease their overhead. They could even be like a third party. Let's say it's a marketing organization. They could offer to sell those business cards, and all they would be doing is in turn going to Vistaprint and order them. And so that marketing firm would just add an upcharge to that amount. I would offer, if someone partners with them, some discounts and some guaranteed turnaround time for the card. So there's like an automatically at no additional cost 2-day turnaround in your mailbox type of opportunity. Maybe you could even buy out some large vendors, and with that you're getting their database, you're getting their resources, etc. And you could just basically shut them down, or depending on the company needs, you could expand. But the other thing with those vendors is you could offer a regional design. So you can have an actual account manager, and if there's someone that's a big volume customer, that account manager could cater to that organization, make sure they're getting what they need, pushing product, etc. And I would also set a automatic reorder component to send out proprietary items. So if they order business cards, then there's a checkbox that auto renews that they will get a refill of those business cards every 2 weeks, and it could be letterhead, it could be envelopes, etc., etc., etc. But that credit card's saved, and it's constantly charging every couple of months for those reorders, and it would be pushed as a time saver for the consumer. I would again reach out to that emotional connection. Their main focus is small business, but people use them for other printing. It's the birthday cards, wedding cards, etc. So make that visual emotional connection in their ads to drive that additional market. And the other thing I thought of that is pretty cool would be if they could create a viral YouTube series, something along the lines of The Office. I mean, that show's been off the air forever, but it's still popular. And they could also do some other humorous business-related scenarios. Again, that's their main target market. That they could play in YouTube ads, or they can even host on their own social media page. But it's got to be something that people actually want to see, and that they would watch through to the end, or they would laugh, and they could relate to it. I would also sponsor some small business trade shows. We're talking, big trade shows, but when you sponsor it, every attendee, they get like a sampler. Here's an example of our letterhead, our business cards, envelopes. I keep using those things over and over again, but you get the idea. And along with that, if I'm going to sponsor an event, I'm going to make an agreement with that event holder that any and all contact information for people who registered for it come to me. So I can reach back out to those individuals that attended that event and say, hey, thanks for attending. Here's a special promo code if you order within the next 15 days or whatever it might be, or add them into your email segments, etc. This is going to sound crazy. Hear me out. I know somebody who does this, and it actually works. Fax machines. Now, when I talked about someone's going to start a small business and they get overwhelmed, I'll actually use my parents for example. My dad, he started off in the garage of his house fixing cars. He was just doing it for a couple of people, and the next thing you know is more people, and then he's opened up a garage and he's having to hire employees, etc. So not really with the mindset of like how to run a business, how to market it, etc. So my dad didn't have a website for quite some time, and if you send out a fax to some of these small businesses, they will look at these ads, and you got to have a tie-in. You got to have that special thing that they need, which is probably going to be time savings. But if you do this, let's say you have a designer for like a website, you can have the opportunity for that specific designer